to the channel. So today we're going to be making something that's very near and dear to my heart. We're going to be making my mom's sweet potato biscuits. This is a recipe that she handed down to us and left with us. It's something that she used to make for special occasions. My sister used to beg my mom to make them. The recipe's pretty simple, but this is my first time making it, so you guys will be trying it for the first time with me. So all of the ingredients, everything, I'm going to put into the comments below. They're not comments, my bad. I'm going to put into the info section below, and you guys can check it out, but let's get started. So in a large bowl, what we're going to do is we're going to be sifting 1.5 cups of flour with 2 tablespoons of sugar, and then we're also going to be adding baking soda, nutmeg, and cinnamon. So let's get started on that. I'm going to be using my 1/2 cup just because that's what I have right now. So we're going to be doing 3 of these. And this sifter is by far my favorite thing in the kitchen. It just makes sure that everything comes out perfectly. So we're doing 1.5 cups. So I am just making sure that we have 1.5 cups and not a little bit more, not a little less. Okay. And you'll see the video speed up just a little bit when we do tedious things like sifting, because sifting is pretty tedious, right? But to make sure that everything is all mixed in together, I am going to put all of my dry ingredients into the sifter first. So, like I said, we have our flour. Now we're going to go with our 2 tablespoons of sugar. I am using a 1/2 tablespoon measure, so we're going to do 4 of these. And this is regular granulated sugar. So, table sugar, guys, what you would use to put in your coffee. 3 and 4. And then we're also going to be putting a tablespoon of baking powder. So, here's our baking powder. I have baking powder and things like that on hand because I used to bake a lot. Now, not so much, but still in all, it's a good thing to have. Okay. Now, outside of the traditional recipe that you'll get from, say, like Food Network or any of those other ones, right? I'm going to throw in a little. So aside from some of the other traditional ones that you'll see, the quick recipes, I like to add in just a little bit of nutmeg, just a pinch. And here was my mom's secret, cinnamon. Gives it a little bit of different flavor. So we're just going to add a little bit of cinnamon in there. And now we're going to sift. Okay, so after we've sifted, we're just going to put our bowl to the side for a minute. And we're now going to mix together our 3/4 cup of cooked mashed sweet potatoes. All right, guys, so now in my pot that I boiled it in, I have a 3/4 cup of sweet potato. And to that, I'm going to add some dark maple syrup. Okay, so it says we're going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of dark maple syrup. So let's just get that in here. We're going to just, throw a little bit more in here because that's what black people do. And Then we're going to pour in our buttermilk. So I made this buttermilk at home, which it was a half a cup of milk and a half a tablespoon of vinegar to make buttermilk. You let it sit and it mixes up and it kind of curdles and it gives you that buttermilk mixture. Okay, so now I'm just going to mix our buttermilk and sweet potato mixture in. So you'll get kind of like a little bit of a slurry. Once we've mixed it all together, we're just going to put it over to the side because now we're going to work back with our flour mixture. And we're using six tablespoons of butter. So I'm just going to take a stick of non-salted butter and we're just going to cut out our 6. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're just going to make our final cut here. And we're going to put this last bit to the side. Now I've already buttered my pan, but you can actually use that leftover 2 tablespoons to butter your pan if you wanted to. So this butter is cold and we want to cut it into slices now. Well, small chunks. So we're just going to get a little cut first. Okay. I like to do cubes, by the way, guys. But let's see if my cube method that I use when I'm baking cakes and cupcakes and pies works with making biscuits. Okay, now once we're done, we're going to pull our flour mixture back in and we're just going to get these in here. Now, if you're like me and you do not have a pastry mixer, right, or a pastry mixer, it's like something that has like teeth like this and you push it down. You don't have one of those, we're going to use 2 butter knives and just really get that mixture chopped in there. Here's our butter knife. And we're just going to get that mixture chopped in there. Just a little bit. Okay. And now I'm going forward with my hands. So you guys, I'm going to go wash my hands really quickly. You guys stay tuned, but I'm going to get in here with my hands and just get this all mulled together because it's quicker. But if you want to be really cute and dainty, your 2 butter knives. Okay. Woo! That was a lot. But now we have everything all mixed in our flour mixture, which is our salt, our seasonings, our nutmeg and our cinnamon, our baking powder and our flour, all sifted and then combined with our cold butter chunks. And now you'll have something that resembles a coarse, like cornmeal, sort of kind of like grits. Oh yeah, grits. When you buy grits from the store. So now we're going to just take our mixture of sweet potato and buttermilk and we're just going to add a quick dash of vanilla. That's just for a little bit of extra flavoring. With that, you're eyeballing it. If you don't like vanilla, don't add it. I love vanilla, so I'm just going to add that in there. And that's something that my mom used to add, the vanilla. Okay, it gives it a little bit of extra flavor. Something a little different from what the traditional sweet potato biscuit would have. Okay, so it's going to give it that element of sweetness. So I have a small well here in our flour mixture. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scraper and I'm going to scrape the sides and I'm going to slowly add the mixture in. right into the well. Okay? And we're just going to add that mixture all into the well. And now we're just going to use our scraper and just fold the flour and sweet potato mixture into each other. Now remember, we don't want to overmix this because then it won't cook as well. So we just want to make sure we're folding. And occasionally, we just want to scrape off the scraper. Okay. And then keep folding. You can do this with, some people do it with their hands. Other people do it with just a regular spatula. Whatever you have in your house, honestly. Make it work for you. I just so happen to have these scrapers because of my baking. So I'm just going to keep folding this in until we get a good doughy consistency and all of our flour is mixed in, right? So we should be able to start scraping away from the sides and not seeing any residue. Okay, we want to just get that in there a little bit more. And we want to keep going. It's a pretty orange color, by the way. Okay. So this is supposed to make 9, guys. Let's see if it does. But for the most part, let's just keep going. Because remember, we're trying this together for the first time. Okay. So I'm going to keep scraping, and then I'll come back to you guys once everything is all folded in, and I'll show you guys the next step. Boom. So now we're all mixed together, and if you can't see, I have floured my surface. So now we're just going to turn our dough over onto our floured surface. Let's make sure we don't have any areas that aren't floured because we don't want it to stick. And then we're just going to turn this over onto our flour surface. Okay. We want to make sure we get everything. So let me just get that all here. And we're going to take our rolling pin. We're just going to flour our rolling pin so nothing sticks to it. And then we're just going to literally just smooth this out a little bit. So my dough is a little bit stickier than I thought it was. So I'm just going to keep sprinkling with a little bit of flour so I can thicken up just a smidgen. So we're just... a little bit of flour so that it'll stop. Take a little bit of this side flour and just get it right on the top. You know, so we want this to be about 1 inch thick. And I think that's about 1 inch. And I don't like my biscuits to be perfect sizes or perfect shapes or anything. So what I do is I honestly use a cutter and I just go through and I eyeball it. So I'm just going to cut and I'm going to cut again. And I messed up because I was supposed to flour this as well. So let me just get a little bit of flour on it so it doesn't stick again. By the way, making any type of baking is messy, so just be prepared for a cleanup. Okay? And I'm just going to get another cut here and a cut here. Then I'm just going to go through and cut into the halves. And now we're going to start to pick these up and get them on our baking tray. That has been already buttered. Okay. And when I put them on the baking tray, then I like to make them look really cute and shapely. So I'm going to throw these on here and shape them. You want about an inch apart from each other so that you don't have a glob of biscuits, just like one giant glob. So you definitely want to make sure that you shape them and put them about an inch apart so when they spread and rise, you'll still have great biscuits. I love this scraper because what it also does is it gets all the stuff underneath. So So now we have all of our biscuits on our buttered baking sheet. I had the oven preheated to 450, so now we're going to pop these babies in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes, depending on your oven. I'm so excited. I can't wait. My mouth is watering already. Time to get the rest of dinner done so we can eat as soon as these biscuits are over. The biscuits are all cooked. They smell delicious. They have my whole house smelling like sweet potato pie, if you know what I mean. It's amazing, right? So right now, I took them off the baking sheet. I put them onto a cooling rack here, if you can see them. They're here on a cooling rack. I'll let them sit and cool, and then we can enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in. This one was very special, near and dear to my heart. I hope I made my mom proud with this one. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your boyfriend and your girlfriends. Tell everybody to check this video out. Check out the page. And don't forget to leave in the comments anything you guys want me to try. Some recipes you find online and you're like, girl, try this before I do. Let me know. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you later.